Hey, my name is Lisa, and today I'm going to show you how to make 3 different things with a jar of raw milk. So what we're going to make, first I am going to separate the cream, and then I am going to use the milk to make homemade ricotta cheese or homemade farmer's cheese. And then we are going to use the whey, which isn't exactly a true whey, but we're gonna use the liquid to make muffins. And this way there's not gonna be any waste with this jar of milk. So let's get into it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just take the lid off this jar of milk. Whenever you've got raw cow's milk, you've got a cream cap and it separates the cream from the milk. I've got my clean mason jar here. I'm gonna skim the cream off of the top of this and put it into the mason jar. Now, when you've got cream like this, look how beautiful and thick that is. This works really well with a measuring cup, but because I made sourdough this morning, those are all dirty. And you wanna be careful. You don't wanna dip all the way down into the milk. You wanna keep that separation there. This is how you can make butter, whipped cream, heavy cream, any recipe that you would use heavy cream for. That's what this is, ice cream. I'm just gonna put it in this jar so that Charlie has it for his coffee. When you're done with that process, you've got the milk and then the cream. I'm gonna put this cream in the refrigerator, and we are going to make some farmer's cheese or homemade ricotta with this milk. Now I'm going to make the ricotta cheese in my Instant Pot. So I've got that milk from where we skimmed the cream off the top, and I'm just gonna pour it right in. So this is a little less than half a gallon of milk. And these lids come in really handy when doing things like this for the Instant Pot, this clear lid. And so now I'm just gonna take and I'm going to adjust the yogurt function down to, to boil, and I'm gonna put the lid on. I'm gonna wait for this to beep, and then I'll know it's time to add my acid. And so my acid can either be lemon juice or vinegar, and that is what's gonna separate the curds from the whey to make our ricotta cheese. So while our milk is in the Instant Pot, I am going to cut a lemon for our acid. I need the juice, so I'm just gonna squeeze the juice. You want about a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. So once you hear that beep, it's gonna switch from the boil to saying yogurt if you've got an Instant Pot with the yogurt function. And so at that point, I'm gonna very carefully take this lid off, because see that water dripping off? I don't wanna get that back into my milk. And then the other thing that you need to do is you need to get this film off the top of it. So you just wanna scoop that film off and just set it aside. And then you just wanna take your acid. So like I said, you can use either lemon juice or vinegar. And I'm just gonna pour that into the milk. And I'm gonna really gently kind of stir it around. And then I'm gonna leave it sit for about another 8 to 10 minutes. And you can see the curds are already starting to form. So when I come back, they're gonna be ready to remove from the whey. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes. I'm gonna show you what I'm doing for my little setup here. I've got a big glass bowl, and then I put one strainer that fits inside the bowl, and I've got this other little strainer here to start picking out the cheese. So here's what it looks like. It's that delicious ricotta or farmer's cheese, whatever you'd like to call it. I think it's interchangeable personally. And you're just scooping the curds out and letting them drain. Now, if you saw my lasagna video where I made a homemade lasagna with this fresh cheese, Diogi jumped up here and he was eating my ricotta, and he's already pacing back here because he smells it. Okay, so now I've got my ricotta or my farmer's cheese here, and it is draining, and I'm gonna just let that drain. Once you have this cheese made, it is so versatile. You can season it any way you like. You can put a little bit of salt and pepper in there. You can use fresh herbs or any dried seasonings that you have. You can either do it sweet or savory. I sometimes do it sweet, like on top of toast with strawberries and a little drizzle of date syrup. Or you can do it savory. You can sprinkle it on top of salads. You can sprinkle it on top of tacos. Very, very versatile. Goes a long, long way. You will love having this cheese. Just play with it, have fun with it, and make it your own. And then here, I've got all this leftover whey. And you can use this for pretty much whatever you want. My aunt was visiting and we made this, and she's like, what do you do with all the leftover whey? And I wasn't really sure how to answer her, because in the past I've done something like put it in my garden or given it to my dog. But since I've realized you can do a lot with this. So what I am going to do with it is I'm gonna make muffins. I'm gonna make some pumpkin muffins, and I'm gonna use this as the liquid in that recipe. You could also use it to cook grains, or you could use it as a cream sauce. You could pretty much use it in any recipe that you wanted to. But it's very, very nutritious, and it's full of protein, so definitely don't throw it out. I've got my basic muffin recipe that I always use in here. And now I'm going to add in a canned pumpkin. So I'm gonna make my white chocolate peanut butter pumpkin muffins that I love so much. I will link the recipe. And I'm gonna use some of that whey for the liquid. So I would normally add about 3/4 of a cup of liquid to this, so I'm just kind of eyeballing it. Our pumpkin muffins turned out great, and I will link both my recipe video where I show you how to batch cook muffins and my blog recipe for these muffins. You gotta make them. I wanted to share with you guys how Charlie makes his morning coffee with that raw cream. He just pours some of that cream right in. It's very satisfying, nice gloppy cream. And then he just stirs that in. And then for the sweetener, we don't use sugar, we use maple syrup or honey. So he uses a little bit of maple syrup. Well, he actually uses a lot to sweeten his coffee. And then with one of those pumpkin muffins, it's a perfect little breakfast. Now you know 3 ways to use a jar of raw milk. You can skim the cream, and you can use it for coffee creamer, butter, whipped cream, ice cream, whatever you like. And then you can make the ricotta or the farmer's cheese. And you saw what we did with the leftover whey is we made those delicious white chocolate peanut butter pumpkin muffins. This is what's left over from that, and this is gonna go into the refrigerator, and I'm gonna use it in the next couple of days for something else. 3 no waste recipes from 1 jar of raw milk.